Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are going to talk about should you pull on the Setzer and Kain banners which are coming up. Now I'm actually going to start by just talking about any notable spheres you should be looking for on any EX pulls. When I looked, I think there was 3 here that were kind of notable. So Kain has a really good range damage up sphere. It's not one you can use on everybody, but on certain characters that can be really good. And then Alice has a pretty good, a 15% magic attack up that I really like. And then the best sphere you can get on these banners is actually King. So King's EXs, he has like one of the best attack spheres in the game. It's a 20% attack up. So definitely keep your eye out on King EXs. You definitely want to hold on to those, right? Now in terms of the actual banners, let's look at Kane's banner first. So we have Aphmau and Alice here. Alice you for sure don't need at all, like pretty much not usable, which is unfortunate because I really like Alice, but Alice is pretty much just a damage dealer, right? And LD only character doesn't really have the numbers to put up with, you know, to compete with Echo characters, right? So you don't really need to worry about Alice here. Aphmau you definitely can still get some use out of, just because Aphmau is kind of like the de facto turn manipulator character, right? So Aphmau can really make it so that you can spam a lot of turns with certain characters. I feel like if you have Rem, you have no need for Aphmau. Rem's going to be probably just a much better upgrade to Aphmau. Aphmau is really known for like comboing with Reigns because they both turn manipulate. They can literally like ping pong both of their turns together and really spam off. But I feel like that type of strategy isn't really necessary in today's meta or today's format. So I don't think Aphmau is really that necessary either. So I think these LD characters are really nothing you need to worry about here. And then Kain. Kain unfortunately isn't getting Echo yet, so that's just how good he is. Like, they're just bringing him back again. I don't think he's getting any type of major rework or upgrades here. It's just Kain, same Kain we've had for a long time. He is a very, very good off-turn damage dealer. I would say he's kind of a budget in the fact that you really don't need his BT. His BT isn't terribly important to his kit. But there's going to be plenty of other good off turns coming that are probably better than Kain because they're going to have Echo and other things like that, right? So honestly, this banner is pretty dang skippable unless you just want Kain as another off-turn damage dealer, right? But really, I think there's not really a reason for players to go in on this, especially with everything else that's going on right now. Then we have the Setzer side. So on the Setzer side, we have Guy. Guy's just kind of one of these pseudo tanks, earth damage, not very good though, not like a great tank, right? So he's definitely not a character you need to go in on. And then King, he's just a damage dealer, so like, yeah, you don't really need to worry about him either. So they're really, like, in terms of LD characters here, there really isn't anything notable. And I would say, I don't think any of their calls are crazy notable either. I don't think of using their calls. So, yeah, the LD characters, you don't really need to worry about at all. So then we got to talk about Setzer. Now, Setzer is a character that's worth pulling for. He's not a character that everybody needs to get. It just depends on your play style and if you want him or not. But Setzer is a very good character in that he has a lot of really good... He's kind of like the king of utility in a way. He's got a lot of really good utility type things. So the things I like about Setzer, he can delay, he has freeze, he can give the party rainbow numbers. That's kind of like the base stuff that people know about, right? Well, if you're willing to go in on the BT... The BT is kind of a game changer for him because his BT actually makes it so that the party can deal maximum HP damage like Quina. Now, when I did my original like monthly should you pull guide, I kind of undersold him a little bit because I actually misread the BT effect. I thought his BT effect was referring to rainbow numbers again, but his BT effect is actually HP damage. So just to clarify, the rainbow numbers that Setzer already does, that's maximum brave damage. So that's what rainbow numbers are. You hit the maximum brave damage. His BT effect, when I originally read it, I thought it was just stating maximum brave damage again, but it's actually maximum HP damage. So what his BT effect will do is, it's like Quina where it gives the party maximum HP damage, but it's only a 70% chance, so not every hit will do it. But like if a character, say, does 8 HP dumps, which is very common for like top tier DPSs to do 7, 8, 9, even 10 HP dumps, right? What it is each of those dumps would have a 70% chance to do maximum damage. So if a character is doing 8 dumps, I think it's fair to expect at least 6 or 7 of those could be like maximum damage, right? Like a good amount of them will be. And the thing with Setzer's BT effect that is also very interesting, because he's a gambler, they put a little bit of RNG into it in that his BT effect can last anywhere from 6 to 12 turns. Now, even though RNG could seem really bad on this, the way they've done it here with Setzer I think is fine, because if you think of Quina, I'm pretty sure Quina's BT effect is only 5, maybe 6 turns, right? And like that's just what it always is. Setzer's at a bare minimum is going to be 6, but you could have 12 turns of that. So could you imagine like 12 turns of having maximum, like, and he's going to be doing rainbow damage as well. So he's a character where you're going to be getting rainbow numbers and maximum HP damage. Not every single hit, right? It's like percentages. That's like the gambling theme. But you're going to have it for so much longer. And with all of the HP dumps, you're going to hit a lot of maximum HP damage. I think Setzer's going to be really good if you like how that sounds, right? And he is another character then that can help you kind of cheese content the same way that Quina does. Now, if you already have Quina and are comfortable using Quina and you use Quina a lot, then you probably don't need to go in on Setzer at all, right? Now, if Setzer's your crystal color, or you want to have a second Quina option, because then the nice thing about Setzer, right, is like if you're doing lockout content, you essentially could have like 2 Quinas, right? You would have the Setzer version and the Quina version to help cheese fights if you really want to do that. The only thing is that I'm pretty sure Quina and Setzer are both black crystal. I think they both share the same color, right? So they could be fighting for, you know, if you're a crystal room player, like which one would you rather use? You know, Quina, you always get it 100% of the time, but it's a very short BT duration, where Setzer, you have a chance for it to be a much longer BT duration, but you could also get unlucky and it could be very short as well, right? So ultimately what I would say is I don't think Setzer's a must pull, actually, right? Like, it's very cool. It's, you know, something you can use to cheese fights, but I'm even finding, and I don't know if other people experience it, but like I personally have barely even used Quina. And the reason why is because Quina's really good, right? Don't get me wrong. The traps do heavy damage. And like, I think sometimes we forget about the traps. Like Quina's traps are crazy. It's just, I typically am finding I'm using either the newest characters, or I'm just using, like, I get very comfortable with my traditional team comps that are beating things down. If you have Astos, you're absolutely destroying everything, right? So what I'm finding is like Quina, and like what probably will happen with Setzer for me, is I'm only going to want to use them if there's a fight that has really bad mechanics that I don't want to deal with, that I can beat over. So for example, this latest Shinryu, right, was a really good Quina fight, because it was one where the enemies like lowered your max brave down to like 0. You were dealing 1s if you weren't doing wind damage. So if you didn't want to do Bartz and Dorgan on the most recent Shinryu, Quina is like your cheat code for that. So Setzer would just be like another option for that. So I think it just depends on like how much you're planning to use these types of characters, right? So there are people I know that bring out Quina as much as they can. And then there's players like me that, like, I'm only using Quina, like, I'm thinking of that character as only for cheesing, not for actually just, like, using in battle. So it just depends. Now, Setzer being Final Fantasy VI, I'm a little bit more inclined to go in and maybe get him just because I like FF6. So me, for sure, I am going to go in for the FR, and then I could I could token the BT, potentially. We'll see what happens. I'm not 100% sold I'm going to go for his BT just because I already have Quina, and I'm already not using that very much. So I don't know if I want to expend my resources on it. So I would say in general, you know, you're safe to skip this if you need to save resources. I don't think Setzer is a must-have character. I think if you don't have Quina, though, there is more value to Setzer. I'd say if you don't have Quina, you may want to grab him just to have that option to help cheese content with the maximum HP damage, right? So anyways, you guys can let me know if you're going to go in on these banners or not. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all on the next one.